This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide toll-free, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, on MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv at hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Drew Maris, and we're going to be talking to Drew about his new book. It's entitled Open Your Eyes to 2012 and Beyond. Now, Drew is an avid researcher and crusading advocate for peace, love, hope, and most importantly, truth. Drew uses his unique vision and passionate writing style to bring you the world through his eyes. Trained by the United States Marine Corps Infantry, Drew has a provocative view of the world revealed in Open Your Eyes to 2012 and Beyond. He is regarded as an original thinker with an uncanny instinct to understand life beyond the headlines. A catalyst for sparking provocative change, Drew brings genuine and sincere devotion to the cause of revealing truth in today's world and its future. His website is www.openyoureyes to2012andbeyond.com. And he's also got a Facebook page, X-Zone Nation. All you have to do is go to Facebook and search Drew Maris, and that's DREWMARAS. And Drew, welcome to the X-Zone.
Thank you for having me on your show today, Rob.
It's great having you with us today. Tell me, what's your book about?
Well, right off the bat, I need to start by sincerely thanking all those crusaders spearheading this charge who are at the forefront of this movement, the pioneers and the real veterans who have earned their stripes, fighting for a cause much, much greater than themselves. Individuals who have been in the ditches, taking grenades and a war zone amount of flak to reveal the unsugar-coated truth behind December 21st, 2012, and the ufology subject. So to individuals like Dr. Stephen Greer, Eric Von Daniken, who's, of course, author of Chariots of the Gods.
That's right.
Bill Burns, Ivan Sanderson, Stanton Freeman, the real-life Indiana Jones, Giorgio Tsoukalos, and, of course, Colonel Philip Corso, who's author of The Day After Roswell. 1,000 thank yous to these gentlemen because, as you know, discussing the ufology subject, going against the grain can alienate you and put you in the crosshairs for ridicule. So once again, 1,000 thank yous to these gentlemen. And regarding my book is once again called Open Your Eyes to 2012 and Beyond. And it basically is an intricate weave and blend of the ufology subject and the December 21st, 2012 subject. And it lays the foundation and builds a framework around 2012 to ascertain the answers to the question that's synonymous with ambiguity, which is, when will the world as we know it end? And my book, Open Your Eyes, will literally do just that, open your eyes, open the reader's eyes, and release them from their programmed mind in order to shed light and truth on controversial subjects bound together by fate, not coincidence. This book will definitely manifest an epiphany within the reader.
Drew, stand by. You and I have to take our first 2-minute commercial break. X-Zone Nation. Our very special guest this hour is Drew Maris. His website, www.openyoureyes2012andbeyond.com. And he also has a Facebook page. Just go to Facebook and search Drew Maris, and that is DrewMaras. 2012, UFOs, and much more this hour with Drew Maris as we continue our investigation into the world of paranormal and the science of parapsychology here in the X-Zone from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine like hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits, and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining room can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you're visiting, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, old Florida cuisine at its best.
Are you interested in the paranormal, ghosts, UFOs, or psychic phenomenon? Join me, Tim Bartley, co-host of Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, coming mid-January 2017 to the XZBN. We will channel spirits live and talk to them, revealing all kinds of amazing information. Spiritual attachments will be found and removed on the show, and so much more. To find out when you can listen to Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, visit www.xzbn.net for listeners on both sides of the veil.
Explanation, Drew Maris is our special guest. We're talking to Drew about his book. It's entitled Open Your Eyes to 2012 and Beyond. His website, www.openyoureyes to2012andbeyond.com. And he also has a Facebook page. All you have to do is search Facebook for Drew Maris. Drew, what was the inspiration for you writing your book?
Well, it's a great question, Rob, and I have always been fascinated ever since I was a little kid. I've always been fascinated and intrigued by the paranormal, meaning the things that cannot be explained by scientific explanation. Now, I tailored and I crafted this book for the believer and the non-believer alike, right or wrong. Its intention was to take a baseball bat to the hornet's nest and to get people talking about these controversial subjects in debate arenas across the globe. See, I always thought of myself as an original, not a print, and have never floated on that conveyor belt of conformity besides the Marine Corps. I believe that I could broach this ufology and December 21st, 2012 topic from another that led me to plant the seed that led to the eventual cultivation of my book, which is, of course, Open Your Eyes to 2012 and Beyond. Now, I could have made a career out of the U.S. Marine Corps and the military and join the intelligence communities, but then I'd only be a victim of my own hypocrisy in helping to conceal the truth rather than helping to reveal the truth, which is why I'm on the phone with you right now, Rob, and speaking to your audience and your listeners today. And I see this as my continued service to this country and to the people of this great nation, because I truly believe to sin by silence when we should protest makes cowards out of men. And in today's day, if you want people to listen to you and to use a figure of speech, you can't just tap them on the shoulder anymore. No, rather, you have to hit them with a sledgehammer to get their attention. And the words of my book act as that sledgehammer to open people's eyes with. And I embarked on this mission several years ago while I was serving in the U.S. Marine Corps Infantry. And this is where I learned from an array of high-ranking officials and pilots, off the record, of course, that there was much more to this subject than is currently being portrayed to the public. And I say off the record because for enlisted personnel to divulge top secret and classified intelligence information is certain to tarnish or even terminate their military careers. So the ones to really ask are the retired military personnel, pilots, and astronauts. They're the ones to ask. And furthermore, the public needs to know, and your audience needs to know, that pilots and astronauts are the number one and number two witnesses to UFO and USO activity. In case the audience does not understand what USO is, a USO is an unidentified submerged object. A USO falls into the naval intelligence communities, and when a USO breaches the water surface, it becomes a UFO. Of course, the audience knows that equals an unidentified flying object. UFOs fall into the Air Force intelligence community. What the Air Force is finding, what the Navy is finding, they are not disclosing to the public. But what these individuals, what these pilots and astronauts are finding, what they say counts, and their word should be taken at face value. They've been thoroughly trained and conditioned to observe their surrounding airspace, and they know the fingerprints of both foreign and domestic aircraft and targets. And these individuals have no reason to embellish or to fabricate lies. Now, this subject is it's a very difficult subject to go about discussing because, like we talked about before, it will put you in the crosshairs for ridicule. But my book sheds light and truth on the fact that Mother Earth might be in trouble and is about to have a once every 25,800 year temper tantrum that will greatly affect our habitual routine of living. And we were the ones chosen to be alive during this great period of change and uncertainty where this rare Milky Way alignment will occur. December 21st, 2012 is the commencement of a once every 25,800 year great galactic alignment that most of us here listening today will be alive for. And really, when you break it down, this is like a 100,000 piece puzzle that myself and others are trying to put together. And by bringing the plethora of pieces and all the facts together on the table, a picture is born. And this picture screams out cover up. It doesn't just whisper it. It's really, and I'm going to use a quote from Oliver Stone's film, JFK. It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma. And this mystery provides great opportunity for individuals like myself who are trying to reveal the truth.
So the UFOs that are being reported around the world, where are they coming from, and what do you think their purpose actually is?
Well, that's a great question. Why I wrote this book was to raise consciousness and to raise the flag of awareness on a subject that has been perpetually murdered by disinformation and counterintelligence campaigns for far too long. The truth, well, the clandestine black operations world believes the truth would create pandemonium, and that's the opposite of what they want. Obviously, they do not want people to get scared, because when people get scared, they pull back on the reins. They don't consume. They don't purchase stock. They don't purchase real estate, and that kind of defeats the purpose of a capitalistic society. But they want structure, they want order, and they want control, and they know how to get it too on the ufology subject. But let me tell you all listening here today that there's a very, very reason why UFO and USO activity has spiked in recent years, like with the recently seen UFO over China that went viral all over the web and the news platforms and forums. It's because Mother Earth herself is in trouble and about to have a temper tantrum. Something has stirred the hive, and that something might just be the once every 25,800 year Great Galactic Alignment set to commence on December 21st, 2012, the end of time as we know it. These other species have seen this episode before. It's a rerun for them, and they're obviously preparing for something big. But to us, this is new. We've never seen this episode before. But if every prior 25,800 year cycle ended in disaster, shouldn't we be just a little concerned about the future events to come? I mean, there are just too many prophecies, a menu of prophecies, the Maya, the Incas, NASA, the ancient Egyptians, Bible code, the Hopi Indians, the Black Elk of the Sioux Indians, the I Ching Oracle, Merlin, Nostradamus, St. Malachi, the Webbot Oracle, Albert Einstein. The list goes on, all covered in my book. And all of these were predicted from different time periods in history, hundreds to thousands of years apart, from different worldwide locations before the invention of the airplane, that all converge on 2012 to just shrug off and ignore. So I want my audience to know that we must undo the deception and once and for all, address and acknowledge the giant elephant standing in the room that we keep sidestepping around. The UFO link is the missing link. The UFO phenomenon is real and has been real long before we were even here. You asked, where are these extraterrestrials hiding? And that's a very good question. Okay, let me ask everybody listening here today this very simple question.
Okay.
Do you really want to go out and find these UFOs and USOs? We got to stop asking the government for answers on the ufology subject. We're barking up the wrong tree, people. The status quo denial and non-disclosure is standard protocol and is not ever going to change. If they all of a sudden reveal the truth that they habitually murder, then the public would never trust them again. So this is a topic that's going to have to be broken open by the civilian world. But do you really want to know where they've been hiding? And there's enough billionaires in the private civilian sector in 2010 to really open this subject up to the world. They've been here longer than most of us even know, and they've been right under our noses, residing in the depths of Earth's oceans the whole time. Impossible, you say? Well, impossible is a word found in the dictionary of fools. The greatest discovery one can make is that nothing is impossible, especially in a universe of super unknowns where each and every day brings forth new discoveries not known the previous day. This is the biggest catch of the sea. And if you don't believe me, there's many hard-nosed skeptics and debunker communities out there, and I accept that as well. But let's make it a priority number one to prove me and others wrong then. When was the last time you booked a vacation to the bottom of the ocean? Exactly, never. We don't go there because we can't get there. There's only a handful of submersibles, of elite deep-sea unmanned drones and ROVs, remotely operated vehicles, and AOVs, autonomous operated vehicles, that can penetrate to the extreme depths of the ocean. All right, Drew,
I'm going to have to ask you to hold on here. I've got to take my news break at the bottom of the hour. Exonation Drew Maris is our special guest. We're talking to Drew about his new book, Open Your Eyes to 2012 and beyond. His website, www.openyoureyes2012andbeyond.com. He also has a Facebook page. Just go to Facebook and search Drew Maris. My name's Rob McConnell. This is the X-Zone. Drew and I will be back after this news break. Don't go away.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
Exonation, Drew Maris is my special guest this hour. We're talking to Drew about his new book entitled Open Your Eyes to 2012 and Beyond. His website is www.openyoureyes2012andbeyond.com. He also has a Facebook page. All you have to do is search Facebook for Drew Maris, and his name is spelled DrewMaras. Drew, thanks very much for joining us tonight. Great talking to you. Question for you, Drew. Are these aliens hostile?
That's a great question, Rob. And now that I'm not in the military anymore, I would advocate no. But let me tell you why the military would advocate yes.
Okay.
The military would advocate that aliens are hostile since past visiting alien cultures and UFOs appeared to be probing our military and defensive fortifications, as well as interfering, buzzing, and surveilling our space missions of the Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, and current space shuttle missions. These UFOs and extraterrestrials were treated as a threat by our military, and the fact that cattle mutilations and abductions to human subjects were happening showed, and have been happening, showed that UFOs and ETs were operating with impunity. And the military just didn't know their full intention, and that unknown variable put the military on high alert and raised national security flags. But if I was asked, like you just asked, aliens hostile from a civilian point of view nowadays, I would advocate no. I'm sure that could be the case for some intergalactic species out there in the cosmos. But as far as the extraterrestrial species that have visited Earth, if they were hostile, they would have conquered and destroyed us a long, long time ago before we unlocked the secrets to nuclear power. This, however, is not the case. They could have annihilated the primitive human species if they really wanted.
Wow. So when we look at
monitoring us, if anyone is hostile, it's our species, the human race. We're so malicious towards one another and can't seem to learn to share and coexist on our one planet together. And of course, this is not everybody, but our species, as a whole, is very malicious towards one another. The human species seems to be addicted to war, and we destroy so many of the things that we touch. This other species looking at us would probably see us as a plague to this earth. All the other millions of species in the oceans and on land have learned to live with one another in harmony. They coexist harmoniously, and there's a balance kept. However, when you add the human variable into the equation, the balance is lost because we consume and rape Mother Earth of her resources without even thinking of the long-term ramifications of our actions. Of course, nowadays in 2010, we have a little more consciousness about going green and preserving Mother Earth. So we're doing better, but for the most part, we have not thought about the long-term ramifications of our actions. And we must learn to walk gently upon planet Earth. So if anyone should be worried, it should be the alien species looking at us, the human species, to stop this destructive warmongering. I would advocate that we really need a paradigm shift. We need to take a good look at ourselves in the mirror and realize what we've become. And like JFK said, we must re-examine our own attitudes, beliefs, and take John F. Kennedy's words to heart. And I quote, "Mankind must put an end to war, or war will put an end to mankind," end quote. How are we supposed to coexist with other species in the universe when we can't even coexist amongst ourselves? We must subscribe to peace. It's not in pacifism. It's not just for hippies. If there's money found in killing people, then there's money to be found in helping people. We got to stop building bombs and bullets and start building schools and hospitals. And furthermore, this subject, let me tell everybody listening, this subject, it's hard to break this subject open because this subject is governed, owned, and regulated by the black operations world. Black ops, the black world, this means the things that don't exist publicly but exist behind closed doors in secrecy. They believe, the black operation world believes that this subject, the ufology subject, is their prerogative, their exclusive right, and that the civilian world needs to keep out of their business. And there's a reason why this subject is untouchable, even to former senators and presidents who in the past have been given the runaround and are habitually stonewalled. People need to realize that presidents and senators come and go, but clandestine intel agencies live forever along with their agendas. The black operations world believes this subject constitutes national security, and here's why. These are radically advanced innovations that they're dealing with, such as weaponry components and propulsion systems that they are currently reverse and back engineering. And just in case the audience needs a rundown of reverse and back engineering is, in a nutshell, the principle behind reverse engineering is instead of assembling things from start to finish, you disassemble from finish to start to acquire the schematics, to acquire the blueprint. And furthermore, these UFOs and UFOs are able to penetrate our most restricted and protected airspace, evade and outmaneuver our fastest jets, and travel imperviously through the different mediums of water, air, and space. They can go to the depths of our oceans, fly around in Earth's atmosphere, and exit Earth's atmosphere and fly around in the abyss of space. There is nothing in our current arsenal that we know of that can do all three. Of course, we have subs for the ocean, but even our best submarines that we know of have a crush or collapse depth of 7,000 feet, where deeper than that, the submarine will implode, which is why it took us forever with the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, because it was a mile down, and we're rookies and novices when it comes to traveling in space, as well as the depths of our oceans. We're really just rookies sitting on the sideline. But like I was saying, there's nothing in our arsenal that can do all three. We have the subs for the ocean, we have the planes for the sky that litter the sky from New York to Hong Kong, and we have the space shuttle for space. But they have all three built into one machine. And people need to understand that UFO does not necessarily entail little green men from Mars. That's how the black operation and disinformation campaigns and the propaganda juggernaut of the government. That's how they excel, and they keep this subject ridiculed so there's no progress ever made. UFO does not necessarily entail little green men from Mars. A UFO is just their type of plane. It's that simple. What's impossible to us is very possible to them. We're not there quite yet technologically, but we are quickly breaking down the barriers between science fiction and science reality. So once the blueprint is ascertained within the covert underground laboratories, for example, like Lockheed Skunk Works, conducting billion-dollar funded black programs, this cutting-edge technology is then stemmed into the military-industrial complex, like with defense contractors, so that they can leverage and build and deploy these radically advanced systems against our military adversaries. And wartime DEFCON levels increase the war budget and demand that more armaments and munitions be manufactured. So for right now, we have a war on two fronts. So for war profiteers and defense contractors and the companies who manufacture these components, business is great right now. During a war, you need more missiles. During a war, you need more munitions. Who makes these products? I name the names of companies in my book, but that rabbit hole runs deep and is very labyrinthine. But what I am stressing, though, in my book, Open Your Eyes to 2012 and Beyond, is that the selfish black operations world and black programs world cannot hoard this topic to themselves. We cannot just sit idly by with 2012 right around the corner. And this alignment has the ability to possibly back our entire species into a corner. This ufology subject is something that I adamantly believe must be shared with the civilian world. And if it's not shared, then we must take it upon ourselves to open it up to ourselves in the civilian world. Because once the ufology subject is finally opened up to the civilian world, it will create millions of new jobs, which will propel our species into the frontier of space and beyond. By this point in 2010, we need to have civilian prodigies working alongside brilliant military minds. And because once we finally have this collaborative effort, we will be able to get into the intergalactic game. Earth is already getting a little bit too crowded with its 6.5 billion people. So I think the time has come to venture on out and to colonize a new area. I mean, Jupiter has 63 moons. Saturn has 61 moons plus rings, all of which have different environments, some of which can sustain life. Earth has one moon. As of this year, 2010, logic was defied when scientists discovered that Neptune has an atmosphere very similar to Earth, yet it is the farthest planet from the sun in our solar system now that Pluto has been declassified as a planet. And with that said, there is just so much room for discovery in 2010. And with the technologies available in today's day, each and every day is bringing forth new discoveries not known the day before. For example, now in 2010, there are 200 billion stars. And I just saw on the Science Channel the other night, possibly now 400 billion stars in our own Milky Way galaxy, and 100 billion galaxies in an ever-expanding universe. And I'm sure those numbers are going to be changing in the near future with new exploration and new discoveries. Not so long ago, we have to remember this, people, not so long ago, scientists and people swore that the Earth was flat or that it was located at the center of the universe. And furthermore, if you believed otherwise, if you didn't believe the Earth was flat, or you didn't believe that the Earth was located at the center of the universe, you'd be convicted of heresy and imprisoned or even put to death. I mean, just Google what happened to astronomers Copernicus and Galileo for being visionaries and for being ahead of their time and advocating otherwise. I mean, this was an era of regal kings, ruthless conquerors, and iron-fisted rulers, not presidents and democracies, where they could have hung you, beheaded you, or put you in front of a firing squad for any suspicion, where you'd be condemned without trial and without upheld laws. So you live in fear, basically, and have to be very compliant. This is why I'm so grateful to be an American and to have the constitutional rights, like freedom of speech, that our fellow patriots fought and died for, so that we can question authority and question our very existence in the universe without being killed for it or burned at the stake for it. So back in the day, if you saw a UFO or a USO or had any viewpoint that contradicted or criticized the main belief and ideology, you were seriously jeopardizing your life, your family's life, and your friend's life. And with that being said, we need to step up our involvement in two areas. We need more deep-sea explorations needed as soon as possible. The audience, you guys have got to know that, remember, the surface of Earth is 2/3 covered by water, and less than 1% of the deep sea floor has been discovered.
All right, Drew, stand by.
More.
We've got to take our final break. Drew Maris is our special guest. Wow. Got to get a copy of his book. Exonation. The name of the book, one more time, is Open Your Eyes to 2012 and Beyond. His website, www.openyoureyes to2012andbeyond.com. On Facebook, just search Drew Maris. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
19 Sergeant Central. 19 Sergeant, check. Officers on the scene.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawson, host of Paranormal Stakeout. With over 36 years in law enforcement, I have learned a few things. The most important is the proper gathering and preservation of evidence is vital to putting the bad guy behind bars. It's no different in the world of paranormal investigation. Whether it's the search for the afterlife, cryptozoology, UFOs, and extraterrestrials, how we gather the evidence, preserve that evidence, and present it to a jury of our peers will make the ultimate difference in proving the existence of worlds and entities that are beyond our imagination. Join me, Larry Lawson, every week on Paranormal Stakeout when, along with my guests, we'll take a journey to prove with indisputable evidence what man has struggled to believe for centuries. Go to xzbn.net for the broadcast schedule and check me out at paranormalstakeout.com.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today. www.soulbalancing.world.
You're listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
Exonation. Drew Maris is our special guest, and once again, the name of Drew's book is Open Your Eyes to 2012 and Beyond. His website is www.openyoureyes to2012andbeyond.com. And he also has a Facebook page. All you have to do is go to Facebook and search Drew Maris, and that's DREWMARAS. Drew, what can we do to prepare ourselves for the coming events?
Well, Rob, that's a great question. And if the audience wants to know, you can please jump on my webpage at www.openyoureyes2012andbeyond. There's a tab called Ancient Astronauts. I'd implore the audience to take a look at that. And there are some machines, and I have some pictures that I'm disclosing on my webpage. And these machines that are called tunnel boring machines, these are the machines that have the ability to preserve the human race. The government has contingency plans in effect and are and have been working on building underground, state-of-the-art, life-sustaining compounds and fallout shelters to prepare, been built to prepare for the end of days as we know it. And these are the machines that have the ability to preserve the human race if the surface of planet Earth becomes havoc and inhospitable to sustain human life. So in a sense, we have to learn to live underground like ants until the surface of planet Earth was hospitable once again. Now, in case the civilian world does not understand what a tunnel boring machine is, a tunnel boring machine, the civilian world would know and could relate to build subway tunnels, but clandestine military agencies use their nuclear-powered tunnel boring machines to conceal their black operations and their black programs, because civilians do not suspect what they can't see, because what they can't see are military installations and laboratories hidden within an underground labyrinth constructed within the catacombs of Earth's crust, built right under our noses. And this is a world that isn't supposed to exist, but does. In the realm of the black operations world. The civilian world is blind to reality because it's out of sight, out of mind, and never covered in headline news. What your mind has been programmed with is not by coincidence. It's called psychological warfare. It's the art and science of misdirection, which these agencies excel at. And it's the reason people care more about the whereabouts of the paparazzi and celebrities like Britney Spears, Paris Hilton, and Lindsay Lohan, rather than life-threatening issues regarding December 21st, 2012, and the ufology subject. Many people's minds have been infiltrated without them even knowing it even happened. And these are the easy targets and prey for disinformation and propaganda campaigns.
Hey, Drew.
So I would have it.
I hate to do this, but we've just run out of time. Will you come back and join us in the very near future?
I would love that. That would be great, Rob.
Drew, it's been a great pleasure talking to you. And, I'd like to say to you and all the other members of the armed forces, wherever they are, men, women, serving to protect us, God bless you all, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you once again, and remember, one person can make a difference, and every person should try. God bless.
Take care, Drew. Drew Maris, www.openyoureyes to2012andbeyond.com. We'll be back tomorrow night at 10 o'clock as we cross the time-space continuum. Until then, Exo Nation, always love your children and keep your eyes to the sky and your heart to the light. Good night, everyone.